Hey, how you guys doing? Since I've been putting description Bandicam in my description of all my videos and stuff, I noticed a lot of people trying to get a hold of me because they're having problems with Bandicam with Warzone and stuff like that. And trust me, after 4,000 videos on only Bandicam, I do not use any. You know what? Here's a short story. When I first started filming, I used the Bandicam free thing with the watermark, and I learned it, and I'm kind of what do you call it? I'm kind of loyal to Bandicam. Nobody else. So Bandicam's not the best on the market, but it's there. It's cheap to get. I suggest don't get in a crack. Do not get a crack or anything, or try to do it for free or anything, because it just you will have nothing but problems. I suggest just go to the nearest 7-Eleven, the nearest store, get a gift card like for like $50, and then with that gift card you go buy Bandicam from the legitimate source. That's what I did, and it was the best thing I ever did. End of story. Now you can get Bandicut for another $30, and it is so worth it because you can join all your stuff together. End of story. Now, one thing I like about Bandicam is because there's a pause key, and you could literally play your game, and if it's a boring part, you just hit pause, and it doesn't record anymore. And as you get into a fight, but unfortunately, if you don't leave it on all the time, you could miss good parts, and it makes your people who watch you kind of upset. So settings, like I've had a lot of people complain about sound problems and stuff like that, choppiness in the video for Warzone. So basically, you click this to make sure you have your mic. You click this to make sure it chooses your camera, so on. So you can see my camera down here. You could place the camera on the newest Bandicam. You could place the camera anywhere you want, kind of thing. But, or you just do a quick one here. End of story. Chroma keys here. I use chroma key. So that's all set up. Now, your little window sometimes can make this choppy, and a lot of people don't realize that. So what you do is you keep this low. I can't remember how to do that. I might have to pause this just a second. Oh, you could actually turn this on to show your that you're recording that, and then this comes on. Unfortunately, it'll just show black in the corner, kind of thing. But then you pick this, and then you use the lowest one possible within your little 16:9 or whatever. It seems to work better. So you make sure your settings here for your webcam you have. If it shows anything else, then it's going to screw it up. So, I'm not a good teacher stuff, but I learned a lot about Bandicam, and trust me, I've had nothing but problems with Bandicam, but I figured it all out on myself. So, first of all, with Warzone, there's a lot of problems where, as a duration, say you have a 30-minute, one common problem was with sound. If you have a duration of 20 minutes, it's not in sync with you talking, kind of thing. So what happens is, what I make sure I do for stereo is I make sure. Sometimes it's better to be an MP4, but AVI just seems to be way better. So what you do is you make sure you, instead of up here or here, you make sure it's PCM. For some reason, I don't know if it's going to work for you. Just play around with it. I don't know if it's going to work for you, because there's a lot of people that have problems with sound. As time goes on, it's not sync with you anymore, kind of thing, with the way you're talking. You see sounds come out, and then you see your mouth talking. And I know a lot of people have that problem, because I've had a lot of people ask me about how I fix that sound problem. A lot of times it fixes itself, but it depends on the video card. I have a 2070 video card, so it seems to keep up, but just in case so I don't have problems, I keep this on PCM. I keep this maxed, keep this in stereo, never put it in mono because that's obvious. So first of all, that is basically for sound. It's kind of easy. What I do is a lot of people will put this number like 16 by 9 by 1080 by or whatever. So say you want to go on 1440. A lot of how can I explain this? So a lot of people will go here and they'll make this mistake. This does work, but what it does is pick different codecs for you, and some go codecs just doesn't work. You could pick this, which it goes to my card kind of thing. Sometimes this works. This, not necessarily if you have a low-end PC. I'll explain that in a second. And remember, this is 2020. Let's get right into this. So this is how I kind of figured it out. So instead of picking this, what I did is I keep it 100% on like this. So I keep my sound here. I keep an AVI. I keep this at 0 because it just picks what you have for what you're watching on, and because a lot of times if you say, well, I want 16 or 900 by 1080 or you know what I mean, or say you just see the height here, the common height 1920 by 1080, custom is 1440 by or YouTube kind of really likes the lower stuff because it doesn't take as long kind of thing. Does that even make sense? Okay, but anyways, what I do is to cut the lag down, I let the game pick this kind of thing. Depends what game you're on. Technically, you don't have to worry about this. Just try it. Sometimes it might work for you. Sometimes you could just play with it. That's what I did. So what works for me is, say I'm recording in 1440, so 1440. And then the highest for 4K that this will go into a higher one, but you have to get a special download or whatever. So just say you go 3000 and it should say no, can't do that. So then instantly this is what you have to be. So 2304 is 4K. 2304. So now that's in your 4K, right? Now 4K I think is a lower number with that, but I always put that in max because then no matter what's in 4K. And it's easy to do that. A lot of times for Warzone does not like 4K unless you're in I don't know if a different okay, Bandicam does not like 4K for Warzone. So I put 1080. And I have not figured out how to do it in 1440. I figured out to do in 1440, but it's still a little bit choppy and I'm still working on it. And you might see that maybe in the comment section I'll put it 1440, this is how it works, blah, blah, blah. But I haven't figured it out. But I have figured out for 1080. So I put this in 1080 here. I put this frame rate at 120. Any higher it seems to chop. I keep the quality up, but the problem is with quality, it sucks down your gigabytes on your hard drive. Higher it is, the more gigabytes it's going to be, but the better it looks. If you want a lower end PC, I would say try doing 60 or 60 and 60 to start with, and then back it off. So then you go to 30 is a lower end PC, but your videos ain't gonna look that good. And then you go to 30 here, but what happens is it just looks worse and worse and worse kind of thing. So now here, a lot of people use Xvid. I used Xvid for years, but for some reason Warzone doesn't like that. Warzone likes this, but unfortunately, this can be up to 100 gigs of video, and it'll suck down your 1 terabyte hard drive like nothing. If you have less, then you're in big trouble. But it does look good on this. This, it seems to chop on it. This seems to chop on it. This really chops on it. This really chops on it. You go to external codec, and then you have even more problems because then, okay, I'll show you. So this is where it kind of shows this this crap doesn't work. I tried all this, doesn't work. So basically go to here. Now you got to make sure you go here and you have either an auto select. Keep this down if it chops a little bit, but mine, I have a higher end PC, so I keep that up. Make sure this is on here and not on here. Make sure, and if you want, you can say, please put it on my video card no matter what. Usually it does it on itself, but what I do is keep an auto select because it chooses, because there's only one video card kind of on here. You want quality based, you want to keep it on here. This is bit rate based because you could, I'll show you how to change the bit rate if it comes down to that, but usually if you do it like this, you won't have any problems. MP4 keeps the codec for the, it seems to work okay, but there are still times where it seems to chop, and AVI just seems to work, and I don't know. And this is the latest version. This is my latest, actually. Let's see. Second. Now I was going to show a little bit of the, here is about, which shows, but it shows a little bit of my license and my email address, and I don't want to show that online right now. Or ever. It shows a little bit, but you could never get my license. But you never know. If some of you are smart, you probably could. And then I'd have to buy another Bandicam. But so now back a second. So like I said, put this on here. Sound don't really have to touch. None of this you really have to touch. If you have mic problems, you click on here, you make sure you change your mic. Maybe I'll do sound some other time if people in the comments say, oh, I want a little bit more about sound. But right now we're just trying to get your Warzone to work. So basically, we'll put this here and then we'll just play a second. This is my Warzone I just did. And this is at 1080. Let's see if it doesn't screw anything up. So you kind of see how clear it is. So basically you want to get that clear. But what happens is there's people who have it clear, but when you put it up on YouTube, YouTube makes it pixelated and stuff like that. And that is a very big problem with Warzone. I have no clue. So what I did is I went into my, and I put all my graphic settings, and I know a lot of people can't. You put all your graphic settings on high, and then what you do is then you back one setting off, and then you film. Something's still wrong, back off one setting, back off, and keep on doing. That's what I did to get, and then I just played with it. And it seems to be the shader ones kind of thing, like shadows, and that is what screws this game up, screws it up for filming, because you want your audience to see the best possible. And a lot of my audience, like, I don't have don't have a big audience, but it's starting to get there. And when quality kicks it up a notch, people notice and they go, oh, well, great, it's fun to actually watch you with better quality. Because for years I filmed in 720 only, and then went to 1080, and then 1440, and then I went to 4K, but then 4K was way too much space and stuff in some games and that. And I was just running out of hard drive space, and so I backed it down to 2 games, PlanetSide and War Rights at 1440, and I keep strictly to 1080 on Warzone. So we'll just show you again. So see how clear it is? Now, I don't know if it's clear at this moment of time if you see it on YouTube, because Say, I don't know if it's clear on YouTube because, like I said, sometimes YouTube says, "Oh, today I'm going to be really nice to your video," and then that happens, especially in Warzone. PlanetSide, all the other ones never have a problem. Warzone, I have nothing but problems trying to film this with Bandicam. And like I said, anybody else here that uses any other fraps or anything like that, I don't care about that. I am a Bandicam person. And I swear I want Bandicam to work for my gaming and stuff like that. But like I said, I say stay away from these presets. If you want to try these presets out. You get these presets with the bot version. There's a lot of versions out there that people crack, and then it doesn't give you this. And that's what you're paying for. You're paying for a lousy $40, you know, and it's literally, that's all it is. In American money. And I'm Canadian. It's actually it's a little bit more expensive for me. But like I said, a little MasterCard gift card worked, and I paid for it, and it's the best thing that I ever did. The smartest thing I ever did. And that's cheap. $40 is cheap. I know you want to buy all the cosmetics in the game and everything, but if you want to be a serious person who wants to seriously do a good quality version of this game, and trust me, I've been having nothing but problems uploading this game for quality and that, and it's very hard to figure it out. But this is the best way. And then what happens is a lot of times you get this cutting out, actually, where it'll go, no, use this. And it doesn't work because I tried it. It doesn't work. So you have to keep on. Some games, for some reason, if you start on the start menu where, actually, just a second. Maybe it might work here. Just a second. We'll find the start screen here. See, sometimes it seemed to work a lot on the start screen. What I do is I hit go, and then I pause it. And then when we get right into the game, then I just go like that. But I do not stop, and I just hit pause. You know, that's how I film. I just hit pause, and I just got every video on my channel is just not edited. It's just hitting pause. You just get good at it after a while. And technically, you won't have to edit. Like I say, sometimes you miss the good parts. Sometimes you forget to hit pause, and then you just screwed up a whole video. And trust me, I've probably screwed up 1,000 videos. But in the end, I got 4,000 videos, and they're all on this channel. And it's proof I use this. So, like I said, with Warzone, with Bandicam, this chops it. This is not too bad, but if you're in a lower NPC, but chops it. This kind of works, but chops it. This chops it. This works really good, but it sucks down a lot of gigabytes. You could do a video with a 100 gigabyte file, and I'm serious. This doesn't seem to work, and this doesn't work at all. So you're stuck with your video card, basically, here. If you don't have a good video card and for some reason it still chops with the video card, then I have no answers for you, unless you use Xvid, but you have to put all your settings down. Let's just double check. Sometimes you can go by the bit rate. Let's see. I actually did that and where it worked. Let's see if I could find that. Just a second. I'll be right back. Quick thing on sound. Basically, go to here. You make sure your microphone. If you put default, I'll just go to your default. But you want to make sure this is for what I'm using an old Realtek, right? Kind of speakers, kind of thing, and I use a Realtek microphone. But make sure you have this right if you have audio problems, and a lot of times you don't have a mic in that because in the game you don't enable, because sometimes it kicks it off, and you have to go in the game and enable your mic and enable the speakers so it works in unison, kind of thing. It has happened where I've had that problem, and sometimes it kicks it out, and then you go into your game and Another thing. Now, sometimes with updates and stuff like that, you don't realize that it kicks all your stuff out of your game. So I suggest you take a screenshot. Say you take a screenshot of this. If this works for you, if you have this set at 30 and 30 or whatever, and if it's MP4 and you have it and it all works for you, there's no lag and everything, make sure you take a screenshot and you put it in a folder, Bandicam settings screenshot, so you can come back, because sometimes your computer might blow up, you might have problems, and then you could always come back and then, oh yeah, I remember now it was on 8, or then you look at the screenshot and then it says, mine says that and 100, and then everything is switched here except this is actually PCM. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And then now it's exactly the way you have it, like that. And at the same time, you want to take a screenshot of this, put it in that same folder. You take a screenshot of your webcam, put it in that folder. Put a screenshot of mount. This doesn't really matter. And then you make sure you have a screenshot of your logo, and make sure you have your logo in the right spot. Make sure your logo's a little higher. Make sure it's a pang. You have all your logos in a pang file in maybe in the same, so you know that they're all pang, and then you could easily just change that with the file name. With I just use Windows 10 Windows Paint. I just copy the picture, change it to pang, stick it in folder. Easy, super easy. Maybe if you want to see that, I'll show you that in the future. Easy to do your stuff in a corner. Actually, you can't really see it, because just a second, I'll read. Oh man. So basically, I'm talking about, I have my little logo up in the corner, but actually, that your logo should be about this big, basically, about as big as this little corner arrow. Mine's a little too small, but that's basically it. That just shows that anybody tries to copy your stuff, then you have a little mark that shows, "Hey, that's me," and then you have your other one kind of in the corner here that kind of pops in. But it's very important, I think. I think it's very important to have that logo in the corner. Mine is, you can't see it's up here. But I think it's very important to have. By the way, this is my character and this is my puppy. His name is Subber. I'm serious. So basically, what else can I say? Sometimes you have a second computer screen. You take this whole thing and stick it on the other screen, and then keep a file with your video file in there, and then you could just dump videos as you go if you don't have room, if you run out of room, because there's games that really suck and you just want to get rid of them, so you just keep it off so you can watch it, kind of thing, when you're filming. But sometimes it kicks this off. I don't know why it does that, but sometimes it does that. So what else can I say? You could pick the height it tells you to here, but to me this really never matters. I just went 1080, 1440, and then the top 10320 or whatever the hell it was. I can't remember, what, 2320 or whatever. But two popular ones for 1080s quality, and then 1440 is a lot of people are going 1440 because you step it up a notch. Let's see here. So I'll keep it on there. Let's just see. Just a lot of times I actually put it on there, but it seems like it doesn't matter because it seems to look for it. Sometimes you want to keep this a little lower, but mine, I don't see no change really at 300. That's about it, guys. Best I can help you with Bandicam. Sound, PCM is it's a big problem, because I had a problem for the longest time in syncing the sound, and this PCM with AVI seems to work really good, and it doesn't diminish your sound or nothing. So, what else? What am I forgetting? You just use your second. I just keep this here like that. I don't have any of that on. Let's see. Home. That's what mine looks like. General, keep like that. Video, image, JPEG quality. I keep it at that. You could automatically put it in Pang, but it's easier to do a JPEG file and then just change the file over. But if you're doing like the corner thing, you need Pang files, so sometimes it's easier just to click that on. But you could just do it with Windows 10. If you have Windows 10, you just right click, blah blah blah, and it's done. I'm not going to show that because that shows my thing. That's about it. And then what I do is on my keyboard, I just keep. Now the tape console stuff, I have no clue. I've never been a console player, so I have no clue. If you hear trying to figure out with console, I have no idea, and I'm not even gonna do a video trying to figure that out for you because it could misdirect you or screw something up, and I don't want to do that. This is PC, so. Like I say, I think it's easier just pausing in the boring moments of your game, and you just have my pause button. I literally have on my maybe I should turn the camera on for this. Yeah, maybe should I? Maybe just forget it. No, okay. What I do is I have on my key pad for the plus and minus. I make sure that's free, and I just have plus for record and then minus for pause. And then when you're in a boring part, but you always have to remember to hit that pause again and make sure you're recording, because you'll miss a lot and you'll screw up your gaming capture. Like I said, I have 4,000 videos cammed with Bandicam. I've run into every single problem I could think of. But a lot of problems I had was with cracked version before, because I honestly had it way back when I started. I honestly had a cracked version, and I got so tired with the problems I had with it. So I just got a gift card, went and bought the bloody thing, and it was easy, and then I had no problem since. And that was like over maybe about 3 years ago. So I say get this version that you pay for, because you get what you pay for, and the updates are so easy. Updates for you. Sends you key code into your email, and you just take the email and stick it in your code in a folder kind of thing, and then you have problems with you change computers or anything. It was really easy. I had that problem where I changed the computer and I just switched to my key code, and had no problem even switching. Like I said, it's easy to hit this stuff. If you have the version that I have, it's easy, but I say don't. Just go on here and figure it out. Like I said, usually with AVI, you have your height like this. If it works without this, and mine works beautiful, all you have to do is change this number, 1080 or 720 to 1080, 1440, and then 4K, which is the highest one you saw there. Frames per second. You could put it on here, but it seems to chop. It seems to me on my computer, because I have a higher end computer, I keep it here. But a lot of times I've just kept it on 50 and 60, and kept it on 50 and 60 here. Oh, and then if you have that, I remember there was a problem. What was that problem I had? You had to make sure it was there, and then there was another setting. They're saying that you had to make sure that 60 frames were. Second, I'll try to find that. Oh, and options, make sure you have this on. Make sure you have that on. I keep this like that. Seems to work. I had these higher before and it seemed to chop a little bit. But my quality is still okay even at that. Let's see. What else? Okay, now I remember what I had the problem with this. Okay, see you had this at 30 and this at 80 for quality, right? And you have to make sure you have this at least 150 or 120 because for some reason it screws things up. So since I'm at a higher rate, I have mine at 300 and I have this at 120 because I have a higher end PC, and then you have to do that because it seems to screw up. I remember having that problem. So if you run your stuff at 3 or 30 frames per second and then you have this at 60 frames per second, then you have to make sure, okay, gotta make sure that you have this, like I think it was 60 or something like that. But you just have to test it. But remember, those three go together, or else you will have problems. I remember that now. So mine's set up this. That's basically it. And I know there's a bit way to do it in a bit. It worked at the. Sometimes it works with just bits. But let me see. Okay, another way that I noticed, because sometimes it depends on the PC. If none of this works, now you watch this whole video. Another way you could kind of cheat in, and sometimes it works, is you go to here. You go CBR, which is your bit rate. Don't touch it, but remember this all has to coincide like I just told you. And then now you have your bit rate. So now you can raise your bit rate to like here, and to do a test. Doesn't work. Bring this down to 60. You know what I mean? And then do a test, and it just means it just works. So you could do the same thing with AVI, but always make sure PCM works usually for everything. And remember, if people have the problem with your mouth doesn't match the length kind of thing, because people have that problem. A lot of people have contacted me and said, "How do you get? Like, I see in the description, I search and I see you're using Bandicam, blah blah blah." So another way. It seemed to work for a long time. I had this at 120, and then I had this at 50,000, or was it 100,000? I can't remember. One of these worked, but you could do it like that. But you don't really have to do it like that because quality is kind of what you want. Just make sure it works like this. But remember, you're playing the game. They'll kick you out and they'll say, and it's happened to me many times where, "Oh, it cannot find this codec. Use this." And you know it doesn't work. Just go into this home screen and try it like that. Or just keep on clicking it off, clicking it on, clicking it off, clicking it on. Or what I do when that happens, and oh my God, I'm in a game and I don't want to miss this. What you do is you go into your Windows, click the whole Bandicam off, then click it back on, and then hit this, and then it should work for a while again until you have that problem. You have that problem again, click the whole Bandicam thing off, click it back on, and it should work, because trust me, I've went through every little problem with Bandicam. And, well, folks, that's the best I could say. Hopefully I caught everything in that. Any questions or anything, maybe I'll make a video in the future. On the Planet side, same thing. Any game, I usually had problems, and you just figure it out like that, exactly how I showed you. Sometimes people make the mistake and hit this, and then there's like problems and everything, but just make sure, like I said, you take a screenshot of. Now, Now you mess with everything, and then you do a video, and all of a sudden, oh my god, this video isn't been. I can't believe it's working. Do not forget to do a screenshot of all the settings. Screenshot. Go into your game settings. Screenshot exactly how your game settings, your graphic settings are. Screenshot it all. Take the time. Don't get lazy. And do it, because if you don't do it, that day is going to come where the game resets itself. Oh my god, I had all this working with my game, and now I don't know those settings. If you listen to Chuck, you would go back into your folder, and then I'll say, oh, here's my settings for this. Oh, this is how my Call of Duty settings were. Oh, this is how my plant site settings. Oh, this is how my Fortnite settings. Oh, blah, blah, blah. With Bandicam. I don't care about any other capture service in the world. I'm talking Bandicam. And trust me. For instance, I'll show you. I'll show you just a second. Actually, it's a good thing I did this video, because the only folder I could find with my settings in there, I must have misplaced it or whatever, so I'm going to have to take a screenshot of my graphic settings for my couple games there. And this is the graphic setting I had. And as you see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And I know that for some reason, I don't know why ACC was on there, because I have the PCM. So basically, just a second. So here's my new settings. Take a picture. Boom. Okay, then I take a picture of this. Boom. Take a picture of this. Boom. Take a picture of this. Make sure you should have that on, but make sure you have this with. This is the settings that I'm using right now. Boom. Am I saying boom too much? Make sure you take a picture of that. PCM is there. That's right. So now I made so my stuff comes in here. I put my screenshots in here. Have Bandicam. Well, actually, I had Bandicam settings here. What the hell is going on? Did I already have them? Okay, maybe I just found it. Exactly what I'm talking about, guys. So I have all my stuff to do with Joseph Charles Colin art here. I have my one game plant side here. So I have stuff in there. Have stuff in here. Have stuff in here. So now something happened. Now you have to find all your settings. You go back here, and then boom. Oh, that's what I had on there. And then boom. You know what audio and that. Then you go here, webcam. Oh, that's what my webcam was at. That's what I had that with my GTX. I had the keyframe interval there. Variable blah 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 there, and then that's basically it. That's all technically you need. And then in the same folder, I have the music looped up, it's driving me crazy. So in the same folder, I would have my screenshots for my games, for all your settings, because if it all works, trust me, you want to put it exactly where it was when you figured it all out, and all that work. One day you wasted your time figuring that out when you should be actually playing your game. Then you know it's all in there, and so on. I can't find the folder where I actually have my screenshots of my gaming and stuff on there, but trust me, I'll be in here. Now, when you have, let's see, Bandicoot. Now, maybe I'll make Bandicoot a different thing. How to use it properly, blah, blah. If people want to know that. Right now, so with the Bandicam, when you join videos, I have it so it's dumped in here. You need a cache, so you make sure your cache is in this folder that you're dealing with all your videos. And you never put nothing in there, never change it, never touch this. This is like biohazardous. You don't touch that. So what you do is when you're joining two videos, what it does is make a video, stick it in there, make another video, basically makes a video and then sticks it into this. And you could put stuff in here, but make sure you kind of keep that clean so it doesn't corrupt any files or anything. You shouldn't even have it in this folder, but I have it there because I don't want to go looking for it. That's about it. What else possibly can I say more? What do I got here? Oh, by the way, this is the Warpaint. Like, I'm Warpaint Gamer, and this is just the stuff in this last 6 months or so. I have 300 Warpaints. This is maybe about 50 of the Warpaints. Take a look at that. It's a lot. So this is what I make my thumbnails. Thumbnails. A lot of people go through the trouble of thumbnails. All I do is I have a backdrop that's on my wall, and I just take my selfie in front of it. And I just have different colored backdrops. People think I photoshopped this in. No. I try to do things easy. Why make it hard? So, and this is just my plain wall in the back for the white background. That's all I do. And I just have colored vinyl on chloroplast, basically. That's what this is, fancy ones. And it looks like it's Photoshop, but it's not. I literally take my camera and just take a pic. I have a sticker here of my old Warpaint Gamer on there. I have a sticker in a wall here, and I just take a picture in front of it. And then I just do different poses, and, you know, I could fancy it all up and do borders and all like, oh my God, Warzone, guys, you gotta come and see Warzone. But what's happening is people are seeing the Warpaint and then they come in. So maybe I'll have time to do that better in the future sometime. I don't know. And a lot of that Warpaint I transfer to canvas and I make art out of it with the Warpaint on my face after I'm done filming for the day. That's what that is. And then you get a time price canvas gold bar that the price goes up forever and ever and ever. That's worth a lot of money in galleries. And that's number 3 on Just Charles Colin, the new face of art. And that's it, guys. That's it. Buy a canvas gold bar. I believe this one's about 1,500 and some times the days. So this was probably about 12 months ago. So it's about $500,000. But thanks for watching, guys. Buy one of these. I need to make more videos, and don't work. Just make videos. So buy one of these. About $500,000. Oh, there it is. Sorry guys, somebody bought it already. Michael, he's only making 1,460 and 50 cents every 24 hours. So that's basically what it looks like, guys. Oh yeah.